Hi, I'm Chris from Airwindows, and we are doing another live stream, or at least some of one. And one of the things I have to do is go and make a fire because it's really cold in here. I will bring you up to speed on everything that's going on. This is going to be a hangouty stream rather than a doing lots of worky stream because I've been really kind of doing all of that plenty. But for now, I'm going to do two things. One of them is get my Minecraft game going so that I can join that, and it'll get some background music going most likely. And two, new camera. Not new camera actually, just the old one. But hey, Chad. Maybe I should put some water in this too. That there is the screen music. I'd better get a fire going. It's that cold these days. And I had to be out for the morning, which is something that will occasionally happen on a Tuesday. So let's see whether we can get this going again. Once I've got the fire going, I don't only it's not like the Minecraft is ever that important. It really isn't as far as what I do. But I wanted to think about some of the stuff that I do and maybe talk about it a little bit. It's a conversation that I was sort of already in the middle of doing, so I might as well go a little farther with it. Not before starting the fire. You're going to see a lot more of this as the winter goes on. Some sort of fundamental, basic animal needs kind of thing. And if I don't do my fire, I will freeze. And we don't want that. Fortunately, I have a bunch of firewood, or at least at the moment I do. There's always the possibility bad things happen. People come through with trucks and steal your firewood. I don't anticipate that happening in the small town of Vermont, but you never know what ends up be in the shape of your world on any given day. Ooh, that's not catching very well at all. But I'm sort of getting it started. I would have thought it would catch a little better than that, but clearly I'm not fully up to speed with how fire works. I'll be back over to see what Chet's doing in a moment. Okay. With a bit of luck, that'll do. Or possibly not. No, looks like that's catching. So hopefully that'll do. Yeah, so hey, the music that you're getting is Lunar Client again. I'm going to jump in here, see what the story is with that. And it may end up giving me more music. And looky there, since the last time I was here, somebody gave me a weird sort of, it looks like a mysterious beast built mostly out of soul sand. Hey, Florian. So soul sand is the thing where I could be starting to make potions. Because if I get good at doing that, let's also quickly check the fire. Cool. And another thing I could do is chop down a bunch of these, because I've apparently made a giant mangrove forest for no particular reason. And that's all well and good. Also, I'm carrying random junk around, for which there is not much space. And I'm going to see how things can go. So this apparently is something that can be done. I could try enchanting more books or whatever. I know there's a place that I can go for getting a bunch of XP and being able to do that sort of thing. It's been months since I've done this, but that's normal. That's basically how I'm going to roll. Oh, look, and I've got some stuff that I could use for all of those things. Only blaze powder, mind you. I don't know what, if anything, is in these shulker boxes. Nor do I remember why I'm carrying any of the things that I'm carrying. So we'll ignore that part, I guess. Ooh. And one of the things that I could do here is just some random fishing. That could be a plan. So yeah, you may be wondering what I have been up to. And I'll tell you, and it also has something to do with why I am in relax-a-stream mode and bouncing back and forth, checking how good the fire is doing. I'm going to have to jump off and deal with that probably momentarily because it's just kindling in there right now. So I finished off the posting of Chimey Deluxe by doing a random little jam that I did not give myself more than like 2 hours to do all of the tracking and all the mixing, because I had too much else going on and it was all a little overwhelming. And I ended up doing a I did successfully get the kind of base tone I wanted to deal with. That was the main object, was be able to do that in such a way that I could do some testing, do the thing where if the compression is kicking in on the bass guitar, you can take the string attacks, my fingers on the bass string, and make them into a percussive thump. Now, I successfully did that while also continuing to do more generating. Oh, what's this? Efficiency 3 in mending. Nice. See, this is why I wanted to do a little bit of fishing here, besides which I have not got the focus to do anything more. Oh, I see that I've also brought a bunch of cows over there, huh? So there's something that I could also do. I could continue that process. That is still there the way I left it. So in order to make more cows, I need to feed them wheat. I've got some wheat, so I can feed them that. Why can't I see my apple? There we go. And let me just see. Leads, yes, I was using those. And I think I stashed the fence post down here. Yep. This would be a good place for getting ambushed by creepers, but perhaps not today. Also a good place for taking a boat out that way. And I should take this down and stash away those resources where I can get at them. But yeah, in between building things like Chimey Deluxe, oh look, I've already got a boat over here. It's been too long, I don't remember how to get out of a boat anymore. Alrighty, I guess that'll hold him for the time being. Got a bunch of more places for putting more cows, but no rush about that, I guess. Yeah, so I was mentioning Chimey Deluxe before I ran out of attention and had to stop. What I didn't mention was that I have also been the reverb developments go as fast as I possibly could. Ooh, look at me not having any tools to take that stuff down. And I was doing some tests on 4x4 matrices because I have this whole setup. I wonder where my tools even went. Are they here? Yeah, I think that's my tools. So I was doing a test 4x4 matrix. What in the world do I do with this? And sure enough, I've got a axe as well. And I could also fly around, but no big rush on that, I think. Well, the whole thing with the 4x4 matrix is it is not as sophisticated as the 6x6s and 6x6s with early reflections that I've been doing. Oh, a conch shell. I've been developing those real hard, and I've been spending hours each morning grinding away on variations on these elaborate 6x6 with early reflections reverbs. In fact, I got back to that this morning. But look at all of the shells I'm getting. The 4x4 stuff, well, that is a matter of interest because it's a different style of artificial reverb. Everything that I've been doing with the 6x6s is towards trying to do, also, just in time, it's been trying to do realistic sounds. So by that, when I'm talking about realistic sounds, I'm talking about natural sounding reverb. I'm talking about convincingly acoustic sounding. That's not the only thing you can do with reverb. Hopefully that'll catch. And I know you say realism in reverb. It's like, yeah, that's normal, but what's unrealistic reverb about? And the 4x4 ones are similar to what I was doing with Galactic. You can get sounds going on that are sort of more abstract than you normally get with a real live acoustic space. But there's an, ooh, what have I got here? I've got a luck of the C2 and on breaking 3. That's not as good as this one, but maybe I can like repair it and leave it at spawn or something. I'm always thinking about making stuff and leaving it at spawn. Right on, Chad. I will do my best to continue talking about it. So, here's one of the things that I encountered over the last couple of days. As I cranked away on these reverbs and got chimey guitar out and recorded new music to demonstrate it. And I talked about how it was kind of like Grateful Dead, which isn't always a compliment because Grateful Dead were also known for being, oh goodness, another fancy book. Fire Aspect and Respiration. Cool. So, the deal with non-realistic artificial reverb is there's entire genres that came out of that being freely available, which was brought to my attention when I was listening to a dub techno mix. I think Dub Element dropped a mix recently. And this dub techno mix contained a, oh, look, boots, contained a goodly amount of really old heaven chord. And the deal with that was it became extremely instantly obvious, what with me working on reverb currently and stuff. More boots, all the boots. Oh, well, the only thing I can do with the stream behaving badly is stop it and turn it back on again. So I can do that if I need to. Also, the musician Ixie fairly recently did a thing on listening to one of Aphex Twin's albums. Now, what's that? I think that was just another salmon. And so I was also, because she was doing a React video, listening to Aphex Twin's either, I'm trying to remember whether it was the first Ambient Works album. And something that jumped out really aggressively for me was that both on this Heaven Chord classic dub techno and, well, you know what I could do is I could first of all go and sleep. So that my forest isn't entirely infested with creepers. But then what I'm going to do is bounce the stream. Okay, it should have started up again. We shall see if that was useful or not. Hey, beef yogurt. Reasonably. I've been in a state of flirting with burnout, which is more or less normal for me. The trollage has been a little bit challenging, but not all that rough. Current events has been more challenging, but there's nothing much I can do about that. And, got another fish. And what I was beginning to get to, because essentially in this talking stream where I'm getting you up to speed on what I'm trying to do, it's also my way of talking myself through what I'm trying to do. And I need to tell you about the Sudden plugin. Because there's a new plugin in town, and it's a 4x4 householder matrix. I did my generating of plugin examples, and next thing you know, there is a plugin showing up, or a algorithm showing up, and it is meeting my recently I went through and raised the standards by which I evaluate or discard reverb algorithms with regard to how incompressible they are. I did some math using Wolfram Alpha, made a test for how the also, is that gonna, I guess we're gonna see whether this is able to catch fire or not. We'll see. So on stream, one of these streams, I fired up Wolfram Alpha to give it a bunch of examples of room sizes relative to how many megabytes the resulting file was, and plotted out a curve. Well, fairly recently I just added half a megabyte to the requirements for not discarding a end result. And just the other day, I think it might have even been an afternoon of generating even more reverbs and evaluating them all, what should I come across but a reverb which, rather than being like minus 15 dB RMS over peak, or the extremely dense ones are like minus 13, and minus 15 is okay, and then I'm shooting for 15.5 up to 16. I'm flagging the ones that managed to get all the way to 16 as red, and this measurement means it's going to sound emptier, it's going to sound far away, it's going to sound more distant the larger this number gets to be. Next thing you know, I'm doing another batch of these reverbs. And seems to be hanging in. I'm looking at it on my screen rather than turning my head to look at my own literal wood stove. Hopefully that's going to get going. Because it's cold. It's cold in here. And in doing these examples, I end up with like generating 30 examples, of which I throw away about 25. And of the few that are left, I find myself looking at a reverb algorithm where the peak over RMS measurement is slightly over 17. So 13, very dense, doesn't sound very distant at all. 15 is good, 14 is more normal, and 16 shows up as red, and those are the ones that I'm looking for most. I'm looking at a 17. In my evaluations, I have this little card, and the card measures up what kind of flagging I put on them once I've calculated this stuff out. Again, the ones in the middle, 15 is a blue dot, 15.5 is yellow, 16, that's a red dot, 17 is red, orange, then yellow, then green, then blue. I've never run across one of those in any of the reverbs I've ever done. And then all of a sudden, one turns up as a 4x4 reverb. Oh, it's not a thunderstorm. Okay. So that's pretty exciting. What's that going to mean? Well, it's going to mean I can do a 4x4 reverb using this specific algorithm, this arrangement of the numbers. Yay, more lily pads. That should do a extremely empty, sparse kind of sound. And so I drop everything, and late afternoon yesterday, I start trying to put together this reverb, and I'm calling it Verb Tiny. It does not fit in the K reverb. Oh, what have we got? Another, sure enough, Lure 2 on break in 3. Look at the C2 on break in 3. I could combine those on an anvil. And it occurs to me that it might be good to make a reverb that's extremely approachable for people for whom all of this nonsense with everything that I do is maybe a little much. All the early reflections, all of these little adjustments. Maybe make another beginner's reverb. But more than that, ooh, a bow. Cool. That's a decent bow. It's got a mending to it as well. That's cool. I probably can't add it to this one because it probably would just be too much. And so I start putting it together. And, oh yeah, no. The thing about a genetic algorithm is that is way more powerful than anything like quote-unquote AI based off of language models. But you really have to know what you're doing with it. You have to know how to create a fitness function and understand that you'll be able to dig through impossible numbers of examples of whatever it is you're trying to do. But it's super dependent upon two things. One of them is the degree of randomness you're willing to put into things. Like, are you going to narrow it down to only the most likely candidates for making something that's good? Or are you going to let stuff be really random in the assumption that the genetic algorithm is capable of finding its way to extremely unusual solutions, much like this new reverb algorithm I've been talking about. Hi, another book. Ooh. Looting 2, you say? That could be a fun thing to add to this. Don't think it would take the knockback or fire protection, so it would only take the looting, but that could be a fun thing to add. Having started making the thing, and yeah, the beef yogurt, that is exactly, the way, that's an interesting concept. I bet you could make literal beef yogurt and it would be unusual. Maybe good, I don't know. But the thing I was noticing, I started talking about when I was explaining Dub Techno and Aphex Twin, that 90s electronic sound makes heavy use of artificial reverbs with the characteristics that I've got in this new plugin that do not use pre-delay. Over and over and over again, I was hearing like reverb around high percussion or whatever, just a bunch of different things. And the reverb was literally being triggered as if it was part of the percussion instrument being used. It just was bouncing off of, like you were playing the hi-hat or whatever, and also playing a reverb tank with exactly the same impact. It really was striking, the extent to which it was using these reverbs that were completely and totally, let's see how we're doing. Completely and totally lacking in okay, now see how many more of these guys I've got. I think I maybe made too many, but those ones are fine. The noises, some of those cows sounded like a big monster. How about you? Are you on a... No, apparently not. Thank you. This way. Some point I'm going to bring these all over. I'll make a sort of cattle thing over there. Anyway, talking of reverbs. I began talking of reverbs. And that is a fine thing to be talking of. Here's another fine thing to be doing. You know what? I think it's a shovel I need for these, but I'll settle for using a Nautilus shell instead. I could make a walking path for walking very, very slowly. That's a good thing for soil sand. Soil sand is the name of that stuff. So essentially that's what I'm looking at plugin wise as far as what I did literally yesterday or so. Don't mind me, let me put some of these things away. Put those things away as well. Do I have a handy place where I put some of these things? Ooh, hang on. That could have gone there. Don't mind me derping around doing stuff. I am probably going to want to... I remember the last time I was on here and a bunch of other people were on, and we ended up having this massive catastrophe of like bad omen illager raiders and stuff. And they raided somebody's base and we were all getting killed and fighting back and stuff. Simple unbreaking, okay. I don't feel there is a point to doing I have produced convolution impulses, mind you. What's that? Oh no, we don't want that, do we? Can I throw that in the ocean and not have it bother me? Suppose I can find out. If I check and the book comes back, then I'll know that it was cursing me. Chad, the reason I didn't put a fence around them was, firstly, I didn't have one, but also because I had just started doing that with the posts and things. And so I honestly just didn't get around to making the corral. I was going to probably have that living over on my island over here. But yeah, regarding this reverb, the choices that I decided to do around it are somewhat unusual. I'm intentionally violating some of the choices that I make. Oh, look at the book trying to be caught by my... Is it going to try to find its way over to the fishing rod? Perhaps not. I think it was just hanging out. The purpose of the new reverb is sort of twofold. Partly it's about getting that kind of 90s, not very many, not that complicated reverb. Got me there, beef yogurt. But then it was also, can I make a reverb that is incredibly CPU efficient, even though none of the ones that I'm making are giving me any troubles? But then I'm running on some pretty high-powered Apple Silicon. Granted, only still M1, but very high-powered Apple M1. And so the idea was, what can I do to optimize? Oh, got yet more. I'm going to be able to make one of those Nautilus thingies that let you breathe underwater. Although I think I've only got the barest beginnings on it. Conduit, that's what they're called. I don't know much about them. So I started trying to strip stuff out of the reverb I was working on, which was, again, it's a 4x4. Interestingly, the way this particular 4x4 is worked out, it is a stereo reverb in the way that I normally make them, where the output of the left bank goes into the right bank and then back again. I don't know what a coat reverb is, so help. And I noticed that in my implementation of it, even for something like verb sixes, which is my working example of this stuff. Oh, hello, what do we got now? Ooh, impaling and protection. What does impaling do, I wonder? You get to fire arrows through multiple mobs. I noticed a number of things, and one of them was that I kept averaging everything, all of the bits of the reverb. Yes, they are rather low on CPU, although I might have been able to top it. They'd be slightly more high on resources because they are not truly optimized. They're designed to potentially run the largest reverb available to you in those. Man, I sure do get a lot of these, don't I? See, there's my fire. It's doing reasonably okay. I should probably enter the log. So I start, oh my god, so many fishing rods. Oh, that is a cursed fishing rod. Be gone with you. I'm honestly not sure what damage a cursed vanishing fishing rod would do to you. I'm not up to speed on all the curses. Oh, time to go to bed again. Night's a-coming. So I do have this one 4x4 again. I started working on that yesterday. I finished it up this morning. So that's kind of a lot. But all the same, it was exciting. And the features I ended up with is I had to work the, there's the cursed vanishing fishing rod. It has not vanished yet. I think what happens with that is if you use it, some other thing in your inventory vanishes, but I'm not really sure. In any case, I don't want it around. Something vanishes. Maybe you vanish. So having made this reverb, I started trying to strip out stuff having to do with how it works. Specifically, I went after all the averaging parts because yet another dang. Okay, that's a luck of the sea, too. There's another luck of the sea, too, so in theory you could get up to 3. Can you? Yes, you can. Alrighty. So all these can be combined into some kind of cool fishing rod for somebody. I should probably put on the elytra and go flying out to where the grinder was. Probably still is there. Depends upon whether somebody came and heard it. I do remember a general... Ooh, a bone. General sense of where that grinder was. Ah, if you die while holding the item, it vanishes. Fair? Okay, that's not a very bad curse. Still, it's floating in the water because I don't want it. Reverbs. Another bow. All pretty decent. I can probably drop a lot of this stuff off at the grinder. The grinder is the optimal place for putting like half-assed magic items around, because then people can just assemble them into actually good ones using the XP that they generated. So maybe that's a plan. How about we consider the possibility of that? I'll need to be able to fly, and I'll need these fireworks. I'm also going to need to put another log on the fire, so let me do that. It's going to be not cold in here before you know it. We'll probably be heavily fire oriented on Thursday too. Oh, get the damper. I do not know whether Thursday is going to be more derping around in video games. It doesn't only have to be Minecraft. Somebody was suggesting No Man's Sky. I haven't played on No Man's Sky, but I have got a copy of Cities Skylines and I have a copy of Kerbal Space Program. Kerbal Space Program is pretty funny. Yeah, so let's see, where are we at? We are yeeting things randomly because I don't remember how to do this. Here's where we put the elytra. I may possibly hurt myself by forgetting how to fly after, but I can safely jump off of a thing into the water, and then even if I fall, it should be fine. I do think I remember how to do this though. Ooh, create mod for No Man's Sky? Neat. Or perhaps you mean create mod to Minecraft? Not entirely sure. Hey, I remembered how to do it first time. We got some random pretty things people are building. I kind of don't want to make too much of a fuss about that though, because even though I'm not actually flagging my exact location, I leave this server unattended all the time, so I don't want to just make I mean, it's a fair question of if people only show up when I'm actually playing the game too, that means it goes a long time between anybody being here or people just completely abandoning it. And then when people come and try to wreck everything, like this was somebody that came and tried to wreck somebody's base. Well, if I show off places where people's bases are, that's another temptation for people to come and wreck the joint. And that's just generally kind of lame. But there's not all that much of this going on that it's that desperately interesting. It's not like you're logging on to like the Hermitcraft server and being able to break everything. That's not really a thing. Although clearly people have been busy beavers in their own right. So that's pretty cool. But this is the thing I was talking about. And it looks like we have to fly up to it. So I will try to do that. So the monsters are inside this. And my job is to figure out, I guess, what to do, right? Do I have a convenient way of going in here that isn't running through a portal? Can't fall into it. One hopes. Cool, cool. Didn't fall into it. This is the roof. Stand at the edge and contemplate reality or AFK. Well, I believe this is also the stairs. And this is also a sign. Roof. Yep, correct. Let's not fall off the edge. I bet you can hurt yourself if you fall off the edge, so let's not. Viewing platform. Does this mean we get to be viewing the mobs inside there? I don't know. Or the viewing platform may be all the way up in the top. Okay. Villagers? Well, I suppose maybe they're around here. And here's some of our extra chests, but I think these are strictly just extra chests. I don't think anything is in here. Yeah, they look to be extra stuff. Dragon head, that's class. Multiple dragon heads. Cool. How do we end up with multiple dragon heads? Well, I'm not complaining. That seems cool. Farming floor. Kind of keeping an eye out for not falling and hurting myself. Oh, we've got some kind of machine. That looks to be a cooking things machine. And this would be a, I don't know, machine for refilling the fuel. Well, it looks very clever for whatever it is. It's not currently functioning. Sugarcane auto farmer. Pointy bushes. And down on the main level, where there are a bunch of llamas and a whole bunch of mobs. Also, I do notice that I've got a little bit of conversation here. So, off-topic question, tape diffusion and the smearing of transients, if I knew anything about it. Yeah, that is the thing which I've had to try to study. Let's see, where have we got a bed around here? Here we have a bed. May or may not be within the range of the mobs. No, we're good. So my tape hack plugin got inspired by the work of the guy in Walther's Audio who's released a analog tape style plugin. Like a T605 or something. Don't mind me. Let me see if I can. Okay, that is a mending sword, so I can. I can run around whacking these guys for a while. But yeah, the deal with the tape diffusion and smearing of transients is that my initial design for tape hack has a lot going for it as far as having good sound. And this is because of simplicity, not because it goes all the way towards emulating anything. I ended up with basically a sine style processing that is somewhat simplified. And as such, since it doesn't have to do as much math, it gains from being able to have the more simple implementation. Don't mind me, I'm wondering whether I can put these things I'm carrying away somewhere. Where have we got, like, bow and fishing rod chests? Well, we've got bow chests. That's completely and totally full. And these are all enchanted. So that's cool. Do I have a fishing rod chest? I mean, I didn't build this, so I wouldn't have it personally, but does somebody have a fishing rod chest? Well, there's that stuff. Maybe similarly related tools might be hanging around over here. Or not. What's in here? It sounds like there's a witch in here. Oh, and you can fall through to under there. That doesn't seem good. Huh. I have no idea what that's about. Also, we've got Mr. Dude here with a chest. Mending, 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 mending. Okay, so that's a mending book maker. How about you? There's nothing there. Oh, interesting. Vines from the nether. That's a zombie. Is it a zombie villager? Who is this dude here? And what's he doing? It's a mystery. One that I don't think I'm going to be able to solve. He has no chest. Well, I successfully did one of the things that I was going to do, which was drop off some of the magic stuff over here. So there's that. If you can't hear the music, mute hostile mob sounds, I bet is what that's about. And then there's my stuff. This is when one of my players is like, I want to have a lot of TNT around. And I'm like, oh, that makes me uncomfortable. I have so much experience with, like, edgy players that just want to break everybody's stuff. Let's see how crowded this is. So one of the things I was going to do here was also to combine the fishing rods and an anvil, which means I have to go in search of an anvil, because we must have one around here somewhere. Like, surely there must be anvils kicking around. I'm just not quite sure where they are. Yeah, you will note that my plugins don't honestly add noise very much unless you count the denormalization noise that I add. Okay, here's one. So for 14 points we can do that. And for 17 points we can do that. And now it's really good. And I have to go and put all my XP back again. So we'll derp around doing that a bit. But I don't know what's in the bottom floor. And I'm still busy doing this. Also, it's high time I went and looked at chat a little harder. Man, that spider just bit it, falling to the ground. It went down real hard. Llamas. Yeah, the spiders do not survive the drop. I guess they are too low hit point. Oh, look at this. We got a view. Some decoration. Yeah, so don't mind me, I am just scrolling back chat. In fact, I can make this window be bigger. Or I could if it was behaving itself. What's up? Okay. So create mod, fine. Is the analog sound basically applying harmonic distortion? Not all. Somebody was asking about something. Well, I'm trying to catch up on the chat. I'm more or less failing to understand what's going on, but that's because I'm in a state of moderate burnout and whatever. Some of my stuff is still going good. I believe I remember. Yeah, and Beef Yogurt, we agree on the SSL consoles. I am not the most enthusiastic about them. It's all well and good, and in fact, Console X is designed to be in that zone, at least to some extent. Thing is, having gotten that, and the parametrics in particular do a fairly intense analog feel for the queuing, and yet I ended up not really being very satisfied. And when I say that, what I mean is that the filters have that particular nonlinearity that I started adding to things. They have the nonlinearity that I started doing in some of my filters. Where's the bit? There's the bit. Oh, I forget why you were saying sorry to hear that, but anyhow, the difference between Tapehack and what I'm doing for Console X and to some extent Console H is that the attempt to get tape style transient smoothing, that's honestly the biggest thing that the guy from Walters Audio came up with. And at the time that I did my initial take on that stuff, I didn't have it going on, so I ended up having to do a form of high frequency filter based on averaging. And that is SLU 4, which is also not out yet. But it turned out I was able to get it up and running. Oh, there's a bat. The bat should escape. I should be also checking these chests, because I bet... No, the chests are empty. How is that possible? Is it not getting anything from drops? That's weird. Oh, I bet I know what's happening. I bet I know what's happening, and I bet I know why I was told to go down to the lower floor. These are just disappearing the instant anything gets put in there, which means there is a item sorting machine in there. So I could just chuck some of my stuff in there as well. And they will end up being sorted. Okay, I think I can go down to the lower floor in a more convenient way. I can take the stairs rather than the water elevator. Yup. Now I don't know if this is a fully fledged sorting system. It's a fully fledged sorting system. Look at that. Wow. So that's a lot of extra chests for backup. You're supposed to just be able to go and go and go and go and go until everything fills up like crazy. I'm going to continue seeing what's going on in here. After all, I just threw some stuff in there which may have broken the sorting system if they didn't allow for weird arbitrary stuff. Working on an auto sorter, sure enough. Bone blocks, so that's going to be toolbox, bunch of random stuff. Here's the person working on the auto sorter. It's going to go here. It may or may not be successfully done. Let's find out. Okay, there's some overflow. That's definitely overflow and no mistake. Ooh, look, there's another music disc. I'm going to put the music disc where the music stuff is. Okay. That's just something. This looks like that part is sorting for these things at least, so that's a good start. And if we're sorting for that, that's also a good start. And we got string. Here's some more witch stuff. That's going to come in handy. And the iron is, in fact, this is not the fastest way of doing an iron farm, but and then here is the beginning of all the goofy stuff, of which there is lots, but there's lots of room for it. So we just have, it's filling up from this way on down. I don't have the patience to do much more with this today, but I don't have to because when I leave, it will stop doing anything. Ooh, a fancy iron shovel. Yeah, it's a good start. It's definitely not fully made yet, but it's definitely a good start. When they continue doing it, I'm sure that will be delightful. And looky there, now we've got yet another music disc that we can enjoy. So now I'm wondering a little bit, what happened to the fishing rods I just threw into the sorting system thinking it was going to be fine? And I feel that's a fair question that it might be a good idea to find out. So So let me see whether I can find where it might have gone. I think everything got all the way through the hoppers. At what point do the hoppers stopper? Okay, that's blank. These are all blank. That's iron. Feathers, apparently. A bunch of these are functioning. I think what that logically means is the nope, not there, or there. The fishing rods I threw in here should have ended up around here somewhere, but on the top. If they didn't, up. Right on. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Ooh, look. Potion of healing. Nice. So nice, in fact, that I'm going to make one of these sorters a potion of healing sorter, because those are kind of cool. Never can tell when one of those is going to come in handy. Iron. Check on. Also check on. Feather. Yeah. That did not work. I probably need more than one of them. Okay, so that'll have gotten put back where it was. I mean, I could go and master brewing and figure out how to put one in. Also, how is the fire doing? Yeah, reasonable. Perusing Beaver. I have actually even got more smoothie Q coming. It doesn't stop just there. There's another smoothie Q coming. Let's see, what am I doing? I am making a really good fishing rod is what I'm doing. I can afford to do that. Okay, 3, lure 2 on break and 3. And there's no benefit to having that be there. So logically what I need to do is go and get some sticks and some string, make a fishing rod, and use that. And then maybe stash them in this other magic stuff. Much like this one. Okay, let's see if I can make that happen. Ooh, do we have lots of these? We certainly do not. Okay. Well, now come on. I should be able to have a... Don't we have piles of string somewhere? I would have thought we'd have piles of string somewhere. I'm confuzzled. Nothing new about that. Nope, those are records. Do I have string in my ender chest? No, I do not. Quiet. Time I grab a little sleep. It's getting dark. This is a good giant thing to have built, I think. Took some time. So let's see. First of all, hush. Second of all, where am I going to find a fishing rod? I should probably go back and build like a cattle farm or something. That is definitely stuff which I could spend some time in. Get back here, you. I want to hit the one with the magic. Nope. Maybe if I go upstairs, I'll find a place where there's some string. Well, there's a place where we're growing plants. Theoretically, there could be stuff like that around here. I did at least just find sticks. Ooh, and look, we've got a whole bunch of other stuff. First skill killed via fire aspect, found 16 hours. Totally didn't almost die. Okay. I didn't know that you needed to use fire aspect on those. Okay, this is clearly not just bows. Oh, do we have a fresh fishing rod? No, we've got a decent lure 2. I'm going to upgrade this fishing rod for you and put it back. That's what I'm going to do. That feels like a fine thing to be doing. I've got to remember where I got it. It'll be a random weird little gift for whoever this is who is killing these. Very nice. Somebody has lots of diamonds. Ooh, and an elytra. And another dragon head. Oh no, I'm going to be giving you something. These are very good. Yep, and somebody is doing what I do, which is like build stuff for newcomers. Vinegar Jim, not as much as you'd think, but I'm working on that. That's one of the things oh, look at that. Look at all the fancy diamond horse armor. Wow. That's amazing. Adventurer stock up time, this is. That's adorable. Look at that. Little tiny channels of water made with stairs. I didn't know you could do that. Aw. Pink Sounds gives up on adventures. Alrighty. Let's see about... Oh, it costs 34. Ha. That can be arranged. I'm going to upgrade that and then put it back in the box. It's Pink Sounds or somebody had that. I'm going to get up to 34 and then quietly sneak the upgraded fishing rod, because all that fishing giving me like magic fishing rods and stuff, I was going to be upgrading them without actually having a personal use for it anyway. So I'm just going to double down on that. I'm going to improve all of this stuff, and then I'm going to randomly leave it as a gift for somebody. Whoever that was. Probably Pink Sounds. But first I have to get up to 34, so... Let's see how long it takes me to get up to 34. Nice thing about this is that I have a mending sword, so it's not going to use up the sword. I can just kind of keep scooting around the outside. Huh. Okay, there's a furnace for some reason. Probably a better way to improve this. Yeah, the most recent music that I did was the music for the Chimey Deluxe recording. That's actually on the Secret Briefcase channel. What I don't know is whether you can actually listen to things on the Secret Briefcase channel, because it is a lower viewership channel, which I believe might mean that YouTube doesn't let you play off of it properly. I'm not entirely sure. But I did upload that to a YouTube channel. It's just that I do not upload things to the Airwindows directly anymore. It's not at this time. Not what I've currently got. And part of that is because I didn't think it was that great, other than it does a pretty good job of imitating Grateful Dead. And that's cool in its own right. The trouble is, I'm torn between wanting to dig up all the old songs that I've ever written throughout my life, because I do have a kind of a book of songs as early as when I was like 16. Vinegar Jim, you were allowed to come and find out. Be observant. See, I gotta get to 34. So this is all convoluted by the fact that I'm building versions of console. For instance, the recent track that you heard a little bit of in the Chimey Deluxe video, that's Console X. And there are a number of things going on with it. One of them is that Console X by default runs through 2 layers of tape hack. It just doesn't have to do it in a super distort form, but it always runs through 2 layers of tape hack. And they both have the slew for filtering that I came up with for the purpose of doing that, which I feel in some ways suppresses high frequencies so ruthlessly that on the bright side it has glue for days. But although it has glue for days, it also eats up a bunch of super highs when you want to have them be there. So I'm thinking about revising that for the Console H build, just so that it still has that going on, but it doesn't automatically nuke your highs as hard. Excuse me with that. And this is kind of along the same line as me talking about, am I enjoying the music that I'm making? What am I trying to do with it? I was having a conversation with somebody today that was very much along the lines of, how can I get inspired to go and actually do something rather than be stuck making infinite sequences of plugins and not lifting a finger to an instrument? Because that's something of a danger. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not really for good reasons. When I'm in that place, it's generally not because, the plugins themselves are that much of a draw. It's also partly because I'm thinking to myself, I don't have the power to make music like I would want to. And there's a bunch of things around that. Like back when I put out the most recent actual album, and that does not, the revision of Dragons that I did does not count. Hey. Oh, the bat got out. Hi, bot. I did a dubplate version of Dragons, and it went absolutely nowhere. And I feel part of that is because nobody's really interested in... There we go. And I returned that now to where it came. Which is around here somewhere, unless it was somewhere else. Hang on, do I have a bat around here somewhere? Is this the one with all of the chests, or is it not? Oh boy, look at that. Okay, there's a shulker box. There's a lot of netherrack. A little bit of everything that you need in order to fire this up, plus plenty of blaze rods, so that's cool. Oh, okay, here it is. This is what I was looking for. I'm going to grab a bit of sleep, and then I'm going to put this newly upgraded fishing rod. See, mine's luck, lure, and unbreaking 3. This is luck, lure, and unbreaking 3, and it has mending. You're welcome. Because I found a good fishing rod, and then this is me just making it even more good and quietly leaving it there. Also, I can stash these here while I'm at it. Ooh. Okay, not that much glowstone dust. Yeah, beef yogurt. The challenge with that is I busy myself... Oh, are these chests? They are. Look at all the amethyst. Somebody's really been doing the... Like, I'm just as happy if people leave all of their goodies here, because there really isn't a need to bring them to me. That's not how we do payment for being on the server, is me personally being given stuff. Okay, let's see whether I can maybe go all the way up to the roof and then fly back home and do whatever else it was I was going to do. Looks like this is the roof. And I didn't go to the... What happens if you do go to the nether from here? Let's find out. Oh, am I wearing gold? This could be messy. Ah! That's what. Let's see if this brings me back to that place. Nice. Very good. What's this do? Well, it goes looping around in a circle. Crafty man, hey. This loops around in a circle, and I do not know what else it does. I think it blinked once. Hey. I don't know what else it did, if anything. So let's see. This is still good. I was wearing gold. Good. I went into the nether and I was like, am I wearing gold? Or I just gave myself a lot of problems. So I'm thinking... flying back to my base and derping around with those cows. Oh, spawn point. It's decorated. Nice. We have anything else going on here? Not all that much. This also implies that I should be making more in the way of wheat. I bet I've got what I need for that. I just need to go and do it. Oh, it actually hiccuped for a moment. Interesting. And we're growing a batch of berries over here, I see. I don't have any leads, so I guess some of my cows are just going to wander away now. Fair enough. These are the risks you run when you don't plan very well. I think I can ship these over in boats. I am definitely going to make a big old cattle ranch. Now, I do wonder whether it would be worth getting a bunch of vines. That said, vines, I can always get lots more vines. As long as you have a little bit of vines, you can have lots of vines. Oh, hey. How's it going? Why do I have a half-used bow? Well, I'll ditch the bow and ditch all of the stuff. I did say that I was going to make the cattle ranch, so that is going to be the, well, I say that and then I think to myself, but what if I did want to get a bunch of vines? Nothing's stopping me. I could make all the shears in the world and go and harvest a whole bunch of vines and put them like in here where I already have a full stack. So technically I don't really need any of that, but I can fill up all of this stuff. Yep, and there's even more vines. You know what? I enjoy the idea of getting lots and lots of vines. And why not? Also, I can get some leaf blocks that way too. It's a really good way of getting leaf blocks. So get that fishing rod out of the way. I'm going to need to plant more of that. I think I have, if I don't have any seeds, well, that's fine. I can get more seeds. And I do like the idea of getting lots of that green carpet. And there's some mangrove fruit, so that's going to be handy in case I need to replant. Now there's a much quicker and simpler way of clearing all of this out, and that would be set it all on fire. But I'm not sure I want to go that hard right now. But I am going to replace all of this with a cattle ranch without so many trees and things. Getting leaves would be a lot quicker than this, I will say. So yeah, my challenge with the music is that if I just randomly sprint and do something very suddenly, like the Chimey Deluxe thing came out of sitting down for just 2 hours to record all of those things and also mix them in Console X2. And that's partly because Console X2 is quick and easy for getting sounds, and stuff just sort of falls into place. So that's all well and good. It's designed to be good in that way. I'm not surprised that that part's working for me. I wonder whether I'm going to get bored with the vines very quickly. Yeah, I can at least get the ground level stuff. And like I said, I do enjoy getting the moss carpet. The thing is, I've also been talking about doing Console H, and I was talking with this friend of mine that I had coffee with, who I've been teaching about things. Like, I think he is something of a kid of a right-wing family who could do with more insight about things. And I'm not sure how fair that is. But this is somebody who I went to some trouble to show him stuff like, and I need to go sleep now because otherwise we're going to get creepers in there. I went to some trouble to show him John Coltrane's Giant Steps and explain how brilliant it was. And it stuck, because I was doing things like singing the melody line from Giant Steps and then explaining how completely impossible it is to play over that, because it is such a completely bonkers set of... or if I get this out of the... Don't mind me derping around, seeing what I can do as far as climbing these things. That didn't work. That did work. Don't mind me just laying waste to a bunch of leaves and then gradually finding my way back down. Ah, this is one of my double layer trees. See, these don't normally go this high. Oh, back to these. Used up one of those. I feel like maybe I'm going to be done with the grass blocks before very long. I'm going to lose interest in those. Besides, I can trust those to despawn. Don't know if I can trust those to despawn. Oh, we've moved over to another tree. There's the problem with making as big of a pile of these, that It is an enormous effort to take them all down, unless we make use of our secret weapon. And I'm warming to the idea. How much stuff have we got? Okay, very little in the way of mangrove logs. Because of my state of burnout, I am not keeping up with chat as much as I could, but I'll try. In particular, I saw Vinegar Jim had a question. Well, I have answers, but I also have plans for ditching all of this stuff and then going to the hardcore solution for removing all of those. I'm tempted to go and try to get more moss. That does seem to work as far as getting that. This is not the fastest way of getting moss, but it will do. Oh, hey, let's get some of these logs while I'm at it, because those are the ones that I did not have much of. In the process, we are also getting all manner of other stuff for if it becomes useful to do this over again. Re-get the resources. Where are we at? 18 moss, 2 more of the mangrove propagulas. There's another moss. There's yet another moss. Something fell. Here we've got even more moss. This really was what I had in mind for these. That did actually work. I may want to do it again at some point. Right now I'm of a mind to do a cattle ranchy thing, so we're not sticking with this stuff, but it did end up producing the kinds of things that I was looking for. So there's that. That is at least pretty cool. Let's go and put, what's this one? 5 mangrove propagulas, bunch of leaves, lots of roots, a few more logs, a stick. Chad is having an elaborate conversation about drugs and music, or drugs being opposed to music, or some combination thereof. I'm putting all of these shears back. 54 moss carpet, that seems good. So this is one way of removing this mess. Assuming that the fire spread is fully working. Oh, give me that. Ow, I'm on fire. See, that's the downside of setting everything on fire. This is why not to set your entire island on fire. On the other hand, I think it's working. What have we got here? Oh, rip Junebug. Fair. That's a little sassy. Junebug's fine. Junebug is just not trolling with us today. Oh, look at that. You burn stuff and it drops some of the propagules. And then we can use... Well, look at that. It's dropping all kinds of useful stuff. I had no idea it would drop the seeds. That's fascinating. That's amazing. I'm liking it if it's dropping the carpets as well. That is my optimal way for gathering carpet if this is the thing. Let's find out. Oh. Ow. Okay, I need to eat some food and heal up or I'm going to set myself on fire. Now that was not my doing. Also, I am definitely going to have to get more flint. I think near spawn there's a fairly good way of doing that. Regarding the question of did Junebug redeem themselves, I'm guessing not. Junebug may or may not have learned that just showing up and being weird like a bot isn't a way of sticking around in the Airwindows channel, although I am not super fast to act on things like that. Wild to me that you set yourself on fire so easily in this way. Oh, and here we have a random... Oh, dirt block. Dirt blocks don't catch on fire. So we are successfully clearing out this area. Allow me to do the burning things. It's fun. Which I grant you is also a reason for letting you also be doing it, but I want to be doing it because it's fun. And this is my place. No explosions around here, please. Hey, Reload T. We are quite welcome. So I'm going to have to go and get those. Oh, I need to also eat more because I did not heal up completely. And I'm running low on these. So I'm going to say, let's place them as appropriately as possible and then run around picking up mangroves and stuff. I'm loving that it's dropping the carpets and the occasional stick. I thought I was sacrificing those things, but apparently not. Apparently this is a good way of getting the seeds back. Would not have guessed it. Ink sac. Do not do that, whatever it is. Or possibly this is a... Yeah, you must have done that. Please do not do that. Cease doing it forthwith and do not do it again. You have made extra work for me that I didn't want to do. I am not happy with your behavior. Yeah, what? I'm pretty sure I know what you did. Don't do it. This was a case of, if these are all on fire, can I put TNT in the trees without Chris noticing? Because I know I didn't put those in there myself. So just do not, stop doing it. Simple as that. That is a request, not a demand. On the bright side, I'm pretty sure I've got some dirt. And as you know, my way of these things... Oh, good, I do have stone. My way of these things is I would like to put it back together again. Even if the problem was caused by somebody else, I would like to reassemble it myself. And you're not even able to do that. Oops. There's your problem. And we're going to be picking all of that up as well. And then I'll do a replacing once I've worked out how much of this needs to be replaced. Honestly, I think that just went there. But I'm pretty sure that these were not cobble. And those probably were cobble. So now I get to put the bits back. And I'm probably going to want to go and grab a hoe. It is just possible that I can even go and find a piece of flint. And I know I had a spare piece of iron kicking around from when I made all of those. So how are we doing for this stuff? I do get to pick up a few more of these. That pleases me. I like that. Just random dropped stuff. we may possibly have a little more fire in here. That looks to be up and running and ready to go. Another carpet, good, good. This is going to grow back just fine. Oh, Jonathan, AI is not the new LSD. Ooh, no, you're impugning the good name of LSD for what that's worth, which isn't that much. That's not how that works at all. Charcoal. Ah, good. Except for I put it in the wrong place, but still. Good, I can go about the final cleanup of the scenario because I didn't completely use that up. And I've got more than a full stack of moss carpet, so that's cool. Got a bunch of steak. Got 39 mangrove propagules, so getting back into this again seems doable. And I'm still confused and don't know what I'm doing. But what the heck. I do, however, think I noticed that there was a lily pad, and I could put the lily pad with the other ones. So there's that. Also, there's no reason I shouldn't have a shovel. I was just in the position of using a shovel. And I think I had a hoe tucked away. Oh, actually, it's not. It's not actually a hoe that I used to make path, is it? It's the shovel. Let's have one final conflagration. Maybe not set myself on fire this time. Up, too late. And sploosh. Ought to be able to heal up from that pretty good. I tried to set it on fire with a piece of meat. That's not normally what one does. Meat doesn't normally set things on fire. I suppose it depends on the kind. Ooh, actually, we've got a little bit of mangrove wood there. That's the stuff that I didn't have that much of, so I might as well grab more. And we've got mobs underfoot somewhere. But no matter. How about no? Set fire to my bed if I'm not careful. Alrighty, so another thing that I could do is go and find scaffolding. Also, I am curious. One of the things I'm curious of is, do I need to put another log in the fire? And signs point to yes, I think I do. I'm liking everybody's talk about their music. The challenge I'm facing and it's what I was going to be talking about some of the time, except for I'm too burnt out to keep a thought in my head, is what can I do to make music that I would actually like? And that's a challenging thing, because on a bad day I don't like anything. And I've made multiple attempts at answering that at different times. So one of them was back in the day, I made the album Dragons, which I've occasionally mentioned and occasionally showed people. That's a compositional album. Dragons was written using MIDI sequencing, more or less the kind that I'm trying not to do anymore, but it did have some things going on where Dragons involved like dividing up time into really funny little polyrhythms and being able to punch in like 7 notes in the space of 4, for instance. And I successfully did that, and it got an album out of it. I didn't actually go back to it very much, although there was an album called Wounded Skies that I did. You barely even heard of that one. It had a very strange sound to it. And then when I did Welcome to Free Luna was about using the modular synthesizer and essentially having it make up some of the music so that it was like there was somebody playing with me, that I had some kind of partner. And it usually turned into kind of Steely Danny kind of things. Here, let's get this going. I wonder if I've boiled the kettle dry. I have not. Right. And back. Oh, and it is raining outside. But it's not thunderstorming. Why do I have I bet something must have killed one of the squid. Okay, now we have 14xx. Yay! Sir, down you go. And I'm going to run around cleaning up as much of these as I can. Where necessary, using these. This should be a decent cleanup. Man, I'm just going to get rid of that one. Let's see how this can be done. I better know what's going to happen, but I'm going to try it anyway. Oh, not enough. Hey, stop that. Okay, fine. And it blew a hole in my ground again. You know, I knew it was going to do that, but I did it anyway. Goes to show you. It only goes to show. Do I have... No, I don't. But this is a area of cobble anyhow, so I don't need to worry about that part. It's fine. I can replace this with cobble, and it's fine. If I'm lucky, I don't even need to go and get more. Excellent. And then I can patiently let it all grow back like I was intending to do in the first place before I got unduly frisky about removing straight TNT. This is the reason I took that TNT away from that person and stashed it in a thing. I'm pretty sure I have a TNT in my ender chest for exactly that reason. I was like, no, you may not have. And then I took it away and I stashed it. And a lot of good it did me, clearly. Alrighty, coming along. Clearly not worrying. Well, you know what? Heck with it. Let's continue doing the thing. I'll try not to set myself on fire this time, but no promises. Oh, it's raining. It's going out. Huh. Nicely logical. Yeah, again, as far as things are concerned, I have been known to play Kerbal Space Program. I have been known to play City Skylines. So these are possible things. If I'm not careful, I'm going to grow a tree up there. No, those were only 20. It looked like there was 6 billion of those things falling down. Well, if I can't burn these things down, I can simply chop them down and it's fine. I can make a big old wall of this stuff and grow moss on it. Huh. I lost a couple of the scaffolds, and I don't know quite how. Wrong tool. There we go. And down we go. Hi, I saw you, jerky. You don't have a trident, though. Jerk. Ha. Got my back at you. Oh, now there's lots of them. Just what I needed. Next thing you know, there's going to be one with a trident. You know what? Nope. Yep, sorry, I told you I've been pushing too hard. One of the nice things about pushing this hard is that I do have a creeper is what I have, sir. Your input is not required here. Well, that didn't work. On the other hand, he can't get away that easily, so there we go. That one is done. We're beginning to build up this stuff. Now, be fair, I've been angry before. Depends on the kinds of things that I would be angry about. Anyhow, it is not unreasonable to be enraged at random creepers when you're trying to keep a place and arguably build it into like a ranch or something. Creepers exist only to burst your bubble and ruin your stuff. That's their job. So not terribly surprising if it'd be like, yeah, it's a creeper. Part of the reason for that is also it's a game thing. It is a built-in, well, let's do something fun here. We're going to have the green grass grow over to this area so that it's never quite abutting the sand. Although I'm not going to take it out quite that early because then it won't grow back. Fair. This is not an especially tended world, I would say. Oh, look, 3 stacks of mangrove roots. I could grow stuff on that. And like close to a stack and a half of mossy carpet. And now there's 42 more mangrove thingies. So one of the things I was thinking about looks like I can grow lots of berries too if I want them, is this. And I thought I had, oh look, more mangrove roots. Those can go where the other ones were. Yeah, this is what I took away from my bro who blew up her stuff. Don't need sticks there. Also, what am I doing with... Okay, it's a fancy iron pickaxe. That's all that is. Okay. This is what I was looking for. Aha. Good. So all the mangroves, now I've got multiple stacks of the wood. I could build fences out of that. I mean, I'm tempted to do it out of bamboo simply because bamboo is so much fun to have around, but I could build mangrove fences. Shall we see what mangrove fences even look like? No, that's a gate. Okay, maybe I can find the recipe for a fence in here somewhere. Although that's handy. If I had slime, I'd be able to make those. Fair vinegar gem. Like, this would not be the server, although you can come here. Again, I told you to be attentive. If you pay attention, you may see vital information for being able to come here. Also, why is this diamond hoe is so worn out? I should make it a mending hoe. What would I need to do to make it a mending hoe? Well, I only have one level, so I can't do much. But that could be fixed. Okay, so let me, in my one remaining steak, fly back to the grinder, and I'm going to set myself up with a mending hoe, namely this hoe. It will be enchanted with this book. I don't have enough XP to do that right now. But I could have XP. Yeah, so to pick back up the previously abandoned conversation around what I was doing. Oh, that's cool. I think somebody's decorating this thing. These griefing things are being made into something, which seems good. Might as well use it as a resource, right? I did the album's Dragons and also whatever the hell the other one was, with MIDI sequencing and like spelling everything out explicitly. And I'm now lost, but no matter. We'll figure it out somehow. Ah, we're not as lost as all that. Look at that. Got there. Always. And that's not the killing floor, is it? Nor is this. I keep not going down far enough. But this is... Oh, those were just llamas. I thought they were mobs. Well, I mean, they're a kind of mob, but... And then after doing that stuff, more recently, I've been doing these jams that are basically a lot more like classic rock music. And I say that in the pejorative sense. It's not quite butt rock, because it's too hippie related. But I've had a tendency to try to build things so that it had to have like original. It's like I'm trying to replace the Rock Band I Can't Have or Be In with just overdubs. And that's neat in its own right, but it's also a little sad. And I don't feel that that's necessarily where music needs to go, so I'm disappointed and frustrated in it. There's also the additional factor that I listen to music for pleasure, but it's often like dub techno or ambient or something like that. That's what I tend to listen to for pleasure, but I do not make music along those lines. And when I do, I'm not satisfied with it. So probably what I'm wanting to do is come up with a way of combining some of these things. And in some ways, the touchstone to that is some of the demos that I've done for plugins. Like, I am not happy singing, although I know that I sang on the K-Station example. But I have to write words that I believe in order to sing them, and those are hard. And come on, you guys. I should get more sleep. There's a bed over there. I will take advantage of it forthwith. So one of the things that has worked is whenever I sat down and, for instance, with recording some of the demos for things like K-Plate, there's examples of that where what I did was just improvised a piano part and then overdubbed a synthesizer part and overdubbed whatever. There's a catch to that as well. So if I start making up parts that I want and I overdub all of them, what I'm going to end up with is a congealed mess. What? Oh, you're a zombie villager. Never mind. There will be too many things happening. And this is why I started doing that card game. And what I've currently got in... I could conceivably look into this on Thursday, if that's more fun than derping around wasting time in Minecraft. And again, when you need to rest, it doesn't count as wasting time. But I'm inclined to say that kind of stuff anyway. Foibles. Now let me see. What was I doing? I know. I was going to make a really cool diamond hoe. That's what I was going to do. And now it's a diamond hoe with efficiency 3 and mending. So then I can do my farming in good faith. But this can also be the hoe of attacking other monsters. And as such, the hoe will gradually recover. I mean, I would collab with people if I could. Largely, I cannot. Thorns. Thorns. You got thorns. Oh, guess it can go backwards this way. It's not going very well because I think it wears out the tool faster if you're not using the right tool. but I need to be continuing to generate the XP drop so that I can have this poor forlorn diamond hoe that I actually used up. That's impressive in its own right. I don't know how I managed to do that, but I did. I needed to recover a little bit. But yeah, the catch with... oh, and I should be doing one-shot guys rather than these omberts. This is not really about doing anything more than making the hoe come back to life. Ooh. Well, shucks, let's see if that works. Okay, thank you, Craftyman. For all that it blew up a bunch of my stuff, that's a useful suggestion. Appreciate it. I bet it's going to recover much better now. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, very good. Very good. Appreciate it. That's a very good suggestion. So regarding making music and being unhappy and unsatisfied with it, to the degree of not wanting to do it anymore, it is this combination between wanting to make elaborate, complicated things and wanting to jam, wanting to just improvise music and have it just happen. And if I just start picking instruments, all the instruments that I can more or less play, and it barely matters, like in the jam for Chimey Deluxe, I screw up completely on drums, and it really doesn't matter. Because if you're paying attention to it, you're like, oh, here's another dumb... and I'd have no food. Suppose I could eat wheat. I don't know if I could eat wheat well enough to make more of it. I'll try attacking guys that aren't armed heavily. With a bit of luck, then they won't have thorns. Because if I get hit with thorns too much, it will just take me out at this stage. I do not have food to eat to recover. I may be able to go back home in order to arrange that. I also don't know whether... Oh, here's another armored guy. But that one didn't have thorns, so good. So the thing that I did with the card game, and what has happened with that card game, which, like, I still have it. It's literally right here. It's on my desktop. That is how much I'm like, this needs to be top of my priority list. This is the most important thing to do. The reason for that, why I would come to such a conclusion, is that is my ticket for being able to write something that is complicated and like in sections and have the parts be different. Have it be like, okay, this is the part where it is a bunch of pads and synths and things. And this is the part where there's acoustic guitars, and this is the part where there's heavy and distorted guitars, and that whole system was for the purpose of putting together combinations of sounds so that I could just try them. That was the whole purpose. And then as I started developing it into, oh, there's a living spider. And we have successfully restored the hoe. That was the only thing I really had to do. So I'm trying to see whether I could, yeah, I can dump some of my stuff in here when it's mob related. That's going to go in the sorting system. On the other hand, I might have use for the sticks, so let's not worry about that. And I'm going to check out the farming floor just a little bit. And here's why. There's a bunch of stuff I don't remember how to do. But I'm curious if we have like mass quantities of wheat or seeds or something. And we have mass quantities of lapis. I don't think I need that though. We have mass quantities of diamonds. Okay. We are clearly doing well around here. We got all of the stuff. Okay, seeds. So there's a small amount of seeds. That's not a mass quantity of seeds. A lot of eggs. Okay, I can grab a stack of seeds and not put people out too much because there's lots more seeds here where those came from. Crimson fungus. Wow. There's a thing. Snowballs and clay balls and so back to my place. If I can find my way there. Probably. It's still good. Don't need to hold this in my offhand anymore because it's already restored. Thank you again. I agree with the observation on starting with different things. That's a very good advice there. And I'm going to not use up too many of these. Honestly, grow enough paper and we have a very self-replenishing. Also, wheat fields? Nah, I'll make my own. Yeah, one of the things that I was doing, Grins, was one of the neat things about the jam for, hang on, I'm going to want to come in for a landing. And close the door and grab some sleep. One of the things that worked well for the Grateful Dead style jam that happened for Try Me Deluxe is I was not doing the thing that I'd hoped to be able to do and have gone away from regarding being able to, what else do I have around here? Surely I have some food, even if it's not my preferred food. Huh? Baked potatoes. I'm not a big fan of fish. Rotten flesh. Oh, cartography table. I'm going to just put that in my base somewhere. That seems cool. So here's where you go if you want to cartograph. Oop. It's a cool little decoration that's basically just a block. So one of the things I do have is a small amount of chicken over here, so I'm going to take advantage of that. And I'm going to go a little ways towards putting the path in. Where it kind of goes extra wide over here, but maybe I can do something that will seem to make better sense with that. Or just kind of widen it out in some other places as well to compensate. Does give it a sort of organic vibe going on. That's not wrong. There, so that's a beaten path. But yeah, let's see, where was I? I was going to go and get some food. There's probably a bunch of fried chicken in here. In fact, I'd be a little surprised if there wasn't. Because that's a side effect. So now I can heal up. Funny how I like making beef in Minecraft, but I'm all about poultry in real life. Granted, for tacos, I am making beef out of that as well. Not all of it. I also supplement it with some beans, but I am surprisingly heavily into chicken for regular food. Okay, so here's a big central area. This might be a fine place. Oh, and I immediately run out of food because it doesn't have very good saturation. Alright, see you later. I'm going to be thawing out cheese and getting ready for tacos before terribly long. Got about 10 minutes before doing that. And I have no special reason to run on past dinner time today. So it could very well be one of those just like, yep, here I am, doing my best and not fussing too hard over making everything right. See you later, friends. So where was I at? I was trying to figure out how to make fence posts out of mangrove and failing. Maybe it's the opposite recipe? Indeed, it is the opposite recipe. Well, let's see what these guys look like. Do I like it? It's fine. You can plant mangrove propagules on top of the fence post. That probably won't work. See, you can't just go too whole hog with this stuff because okay, let's see how many we can make. That's not a bad number to start with. I should probably make a gate too. And we'll put them all out here where the chicken farm is. And maybe have it be a fairly orderly layout. It could be a straight line. go by this way. And now I need to make some more mangrove fences, but this is starting to look what I had in mind. Oh, are you asking me, am I a hot sauce? It depends. I don't tend to have hot sauce, but the chicken dish that I make most often, and by that I mean literally almost all the time, is a Szechuan peanut chicken thing that I kind of invented and made up. Not that I invented the concept of Szechuan peanut chicken, but I have this particular recipe of it that I use. Okay, let's see how this goes. Insta full stack. Okay. It's full stack plus 8, sorry. Well, that seems cool. Also, I feel like there's a place for a little bit of irrigation and a wheat farm. Where did I put buckets? Also, I can have the gate be a different kind of wood, and that will make it more visible. Where's my bucket? Here's my bucket. It just hasn't been invented yet. I probably also have a bucket kicking around somewhere else, but there it is. Taco lore. Tacos is one of the things that I really enjoy. So one of the starter aspects of it is I'm not doing anything particularly, let's see, bear with me while I count. 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll suffice, I think. I'm not sure if I want just sand holding that in, but it's fine. It's going to become method for making a bunch more. You should come along pretty well. Here we are. Tacos. We were talking about tacos. And so we should, because like 5 minutes. Oh, there goes the dolphin. That's quick. Dolphin's a quick boy. So it's essentially based off of like suburban kid tacos. That means there's a heavy old El Paso increment. And that's not because it's good, but it's because I grew up with it. It's like if your dad's cooking recipe, and this is true for me, if it's dad's night to make dinner is spaghetti and meatballs from like the Chef Boyardee or whatever, the Franco-American version of spaghetti and meatballs with, brown some, if the recipe is brown some hamburger and then go and dump the spaghetti on top of it and then add some ketchup just because, that is like special time dad is cooking dinner kind of meal rather than being actually good. And that is, in fact, what I had many times. That's one of my comfort foods coming out of a difficult family life. was those situations where everybody was a little bit like, we are, I don't know if I want to say free of trouble, but everything's a little more off the hook because Dad is cooking for us and Mom is out for whatever reason. So, like, we can watch more TV or whatever, stuff like that. The irresponsible child rearing. I wonder if I'm actually going to run out of seeds. Well, we know what to do if I do. Continue planting them, and then when I'm able to get more, I will make more. Because harvesting these is going to produce more seeds. Another 12 and we're good. So tacos for me is very much the same concept. Tacos for me is starting by browning some ground chuck. So it does use beef, but not all that amazingly much. I'm only making about 4 ounces or so of it. Actually, I think it's 5. I think I've settled on it's 5 ounces. It's there. And good catch. I was not going to put that there. It's going to be another straight row. After having browned the ground chuck, I put a the dry constituents of it. I wonder if I can make another pen. Oh, I absolutely could make another pen. It's a question of whether I want to or will. And we're not making any more of these, huh? Okay. On egg overflow. Oh, that's what it needed. So if we don't do that, it starts recycling everything. But now it's beginning to build up again. So that'll take care of itself. Technically, I could make like creepy lava pits and hoppers and stuff for just automatically harvesting cow. Have a bunch of them in here, and then go, roar! And when they flee, they fall into the lava. But I'm not going to do that because that is pointlessly weird, cruel, and unsettling. And this is probably mine because I enjoyed the heck out of these itty bitty guys. I wonder whether you can transport cows on them. Let's totally go find out. One of the things I can do is pick up the spare bits of this. Carefully. There we go. Not fixing to hit the actual cows with this. Not right now, anyhow. Days of that could occur, but not at the moment. Oh, hi, you're one of the ones where I don't have enough leads. Well, if I can go and find you, then it's all good. Okay. Got it? And away we go. Come on. We're going to find out whether you can ride in a bamboo raft. It looks very much like I can use this. It must be extremely funny looking. the bamboo raft to transport these guys. That's deeply amusing. Do I have to break it to get them off? Also, let's have a better way of loading these guys in. If I can get them on there. Oh, crafty man. Yeah, my tacos are always a very straightforward thing, which is, let me just do this while I'm at it. In so doing, I'll have an easier time dragging these guys over. Now I find out whether this part works. It worked. There we go. So again, I had taking forever explaining any of this. So for starters, I'm browning ground chuck. Now I'm going and finding the stray cow. Oh, there's multiple stray cows. Let's go and get the ones that are farthest away first. These guys are all the result of me going out doing this. So there were no stakes up to this point. This must look so funny. There you go. Yeah, it's working really well. And after I have, see, eventually I'm going to be able to answer the question. Oh no, another fall? Didn't mean to do that, sorry. How about other click? There we go. Apologies, not that I'm not going to kill you anyway. Oh, great, I've put a lead on the boat. Is that even a thing? It must be. So the thing that I'm adding to it is not only Old El Paso taco mix, which, by the way, I do a couple of different variations on. I combine the regular Old El Paso stuff, which is large. There's a bunch of like you know what? I don't remember what the hell it has. It's just a grocery store taco mix, and I combine one of the regular jars of it with one of the regular low sodium jars of it. Come on, you. Got there. And a large amount of refried bean mix, which is like a Frontier or something like that. I get in larger containers. I'm going to have to get out of this boat in a big hurry because I don't know what I'm doing and I'm getting attacked by tridents. And that sucks. They're going to kill my cow. Dang it. Come on, you. Come this way if you want to live. Thank you, handyman. Craftyman. I bet you're the one with the frickin'... Did you drop the trident? No, you did not. All of these are just going to dissipate. But I did get another conch shell, so there's that. And the bamboo raft is still there. Okay, I need to heal up. We are in the process of doing this. Yeah, I know, being distracted by cows and zombies and all manner of things. Let's get the raft out of Dodge. So, it is a combination of ground chuck and then the dry ingredients, meaning variations on Old El Paso dry mix and Horizon refried beans mix, or pinto bean. I think it's actually pinto bean mix, not specifically refried bean, but it's the same kind that you use in refried beans. So I add a bunch of that to the Old El Paso. So it's not just spice and salt, because Old El Paso is all about spice and salt, but it has to have a pretty substantial amount of bean ingredient in there as well. There we are. And then, understandably, I've like browned the hamburger there. There we go. Lovely, let's keep going. I should make them a roof. This is a kind of narrow little... I can make multiple stages for them to be in. If they don't like this narrow little house, I can make other places for them. I have just attached the boat to a lead. And then we're still getting attacked by these guys. Jerks. Give me that back. Thank you. Give me that back. Now I've lost the damn thing. Jerk. Okay, maybe I can row across it. Maybe not even that. But you know what? I can get more leads now. So in the ongoing state of me trying to talk sense about my dinner, which I now have to actually go and do something about because it is 4:11. So there's a lead floating out there somewhere. But I can get one by the simple expedient of doing this. Very good. So now I have a lead again. I could have made a bridge and led them all across the bridge. And then there's my other lead. It ended up floating. It's all good. Now let me go and get this guy out of here before he gets shot. Very good. Got there. Man, this trident bro is extremely annoying. I do not appreciate him, especially when I only have this little raft, which is not very good at protecting you from trident bro. So here's the thing. You normally add, the recipe for Old El Paso says to add water to make the sauce out of the dry stuff. Now I've already added some dried refried bean mix to the thing. So you clearly have to add something, but I don't add water to my tacos. What I add is chicken broth. And that is largely from like America's Test Kitchen or something. I wonder if my friend with the trident is still hanging out here. I will hear it if he is. You got stuck back on the boat, didn't you? You're deeply stuck in the boat, aren't you? Very good. We're getting him. Eventually we're getting him. It's happening. Mind you, I'm not sure I'm psyched about these guys hanging out near the gate. Are you trying to make an escape? Do we hear Trident Bro? No. So it was apparently America's Test Kitchen that was experimenting with making tacos. And they were like, okay, I could do water, but it was kind of lame. How about we try some kind of broth? What kind of broth? Well, it's made out of beef, so let's try beef broth. And they tried beef broth and found out, or beef stock rather, something like that. And they found out, oh, hey, when you use beef on top of beef, it becomes overwhelming and it's not good. So then they were like, okay, well, how about vegetable? And then they tried chicken and decided that was the better of the available options. And so that's what I do as well, is there is about 5 ounces of ground chuck, and I specifically chose chuck over any other kind of cut. I feel like I heard Trident Bro. So it's chicken broth or chicken stock that gives it a more of a complexity to it, and then there's a large amount of pinto beans in there rather than it just being made only out of, because if you make it only out of ground beef, it ends up having no body texture to it at all, and then it also leaks that bright red oil all the time, and that's cool in its own way, but it's like not all that great. Then the next bit is the bit which I need to go and do like right now because I'm overdue for having done it. And that is thaw out my cheese. The cheese that I use is Monterey Jack. I'm using Cabot shreddy cheese for it. Can you not? Thank you. Thank you. And then I get like vine clustered, vine tomatoes. Even in the winter, I still like to use the regular tomatoes. It's silly and weird, and I don't care. I just like it that way. If you do the tomatoes like from the grocery store vegetable aisle rather than trying to get it out of cans or something, then sometimes it will be like not the season for tomatoes, and it can be pretty crunchy and unpleasant, honestly. But there's the ritual of like cutting it into little slices, and then I get some green leaf lettuce and dice that up, and that is going to be having just. I'm gonna sleep. I'm gonna close the doors. I also could do with just a little bit of a pit stop, so we're going to switch over to the fire, which needs to be stoked. And I'm going to throw another log on the fire, and then I'm going to do my taco things. I can do them as loudly as possible so that you can hear them through the room mic, I suppose. That might be amusing. Or maybe that's just stoked. I don't know. There are times when I can be expected to be good or smart or whatever, and then there's times when I'm just not willing to bother. So this is a Minecraft day. This is not a day for high performance and achievement. I probably manage that with the reverb plugin that I can put out. We can talk at the end of the stream about what you want to get this coming week. Anybody who's hanging out, we can have a conversation about what plugin you want this coming weekend, and I will let you choose. Alrighty. Oh, hey, here we go. That's starting out pretty good. Hell yeah. Alrighty, so where were we at? We were bringing cows from one place to another and clearing up the previous mess. Not that it was that big of a mess, but the small mess. I've also just thought of something that I want to do with this scenario, but I think I probably have to wait until the time is right. So let's continue evading the trident guys and trucking the cows across the canal. Not sure if this quite counts as a canal. We've only got so many to go. Some of these dudes are in a big hurry to go, aren't they? This way. There we are. You know, back in the day, I believe you couldn't do this, and so it was much more complicated and difficult to schlep livestock around. Now you can. So first thing I do once I get all these guys in there is grab a bunch of wheat and feed them all. And I'm going to switch. Oh, I could plant a field of wheat here and torment them with it. That doesn't seem very nice. So never before have taco seasonings and tridents been so seamlessly integrated. Damn straight. Damn right. And I've now got my cheese thawing out and the oven's warming up and we're getting ready. I'm pretty sure I remember to thaw out the ground beef, which is something that has sometimes got by me. It's not a happy time when I'm like, okay, time for having tacos. The meat is frozen. Yay. I think I avoided that this time. We'll hope so anyhow. And on down to here, jump over the boat. Lovely. And yeah, I'm honestly rather hungry, so it is a good thing that I have my tacos and will be enjoying them tonight. Oh, Crafty Man again? Wow. Crafty Man's up to something, man. I do appreciate that the folks that I play with are up to speed with, like, whatever derpy thing it is that I'm doing, it is my intention to do it. Because I know it's very tempting to be like, I will help you do the thing. And that's not how Minecraft generally works. So it's nice that people have such patience with me for like, I will plant all of this row of trees. No, don't help. And then I'm going to chop them all down in a line for no reason. Because, I mean, how are you going to play Minecraft if you're not doing derpy stuff like that? And that is, in fact, exactly what I do. I like planting lines of trees and then chopping them down. Hey, are we going on a siesta here? Come on. Got there. Almost done. Then I get to check the wheat field for whether it has actually generated enough wheat. It makes you tempted to do things like try to invent like stacked up vertical wheat fields. We'll make an anti-gravity wheat field that is on multiple levels. Well, that worked. It went springing to order. And that's not going to work, but this is. Ta-da. I've had pretty good luck with them not trying to squeeze out the gate. I mean, I'm not sure they can. Ah, yes, they can. Yes, they can. Next time I will lead other ones away with leads before they get too close to the gate, because they have started to understand what they're in for and they're going to try to flee. And it's getting dark, but probably just time enough to get attacked by guys with tridents. I mean, to get the last guy up. Gotcha. Okay. Bastards with tridents ahoy. Oh, thank you. We're passing the night. That is handy. You didn't do it, I would have had to. And here we are. And now we are all being dragged away from... Actually, I could do that with all of them at once, couldn't I? Much like this. Come on, everybody. And one's making a break for it, but not too fast. Ta-da! So we've got that area cleared out. Later's unknown. Pitch delay, you say? Oh, what do we... Zombie flesh. I don't think I had invasions of mobs there. Although I suppose evidence suggests that I did. Also, as long as you're dropping a bone on me, I'm going to grow some of this stuff real fast. And I'm going to throw the rotten flesh in the sea. Go be with the watery zombies. Okay, now what have we got that is harvestable? I think this is. Yep. This is. That is. That is. That is not, but this is. I am determined to get enough wheat to feed all of the cows and pay him back for the indignity of transporting them in a bamboo raft. And this is also going to give me the opportunity to replant properly and fill up all of these slots. That's not ready yet. And lastly, one more that is ready. 40. I think we're good. One more row. Let's see if we got it. Bada boom. Now I just have to let them grow. That's the food. That's the zombie flesh I threw out there. Okay, 34 weeks. What prog rock album sounds like trance music? I probably need to make such a prog rock album. That's one of the things I was meaning to talk about and then did not actually get around to talking about because I'm definitely a little addled today. The idea of creating new music. See, and that's my idea of how to go about doing this. Although I wonder whether I could make a little platform of like half high. And now we can let this stuff grow back. I should probably plant a little, make a little double chest. But yeah, the funny you should mention what prog rock sounds like trance music. Well, you can answer that in many ways. One of the ways is, could you do, for instance, did that fail? That's not done. Yeah, we're not quite done with those, are we? On the other hand, this one might be. No, it's not either. It's too green. It's too green. It'll be a little browner when it's really ready. So there are German prog rock bands which have a monotony and regularity very akin to trance music. I'm thinking of Can. Can is probably what you're looking for in that zone. So let me see now. Okay, more mangrove logs. I guess we can always grow more if we need it. I'm using up all the mangrove logs for this, but whatever. We're going to have plenty. And we're going to make lots more of those, but let's also, if possible, I bet it is, make a sign. Well, what was that if before it was? Mangrove trapdoors. Okay. Seems legit. We could make proper mangrove doors, and then it would be a really big and fancy. Sure, why not? Let's see what we got there. Double-doored thingy. And that's probably going to cover it for the moment. That's a lot of stuff. The other answer to that is, well, that sounds like the stuff I should be making. Because here's the thing. I'm actively interested in bringing in some of my instrumentation that I'm fond of but only gets used in those contexts. Like, I have Zox boxes. Those are acid synths. You can use them for trance music. You usually sequence them. And I've developed a thing which is literally sitting right here in front of me. It's more of the stuff where it's like, okay, this is what I should be doing. It's sitting literally right in front of me, and I'm not doing it. This is an axolotl for the purpose of running a little keyboard into it to pick the notes, and then running a piezo pickup into the input, the audio input, so that it can sequence those notes with the velocity of how hard you hit the piezo input and tracking very closely to when you hit the piezo. Like it fires a MIDI sequence off very rapidly the instant you hit the drum trigger. And that is important. Okay, so now let me see. Do we have space for that? Kinda. Oh, are they going to get out? I bet. Well, there are ways of working around that. We'll find out real quickly if they can, in fact, get out of that. But I can always put in some more of the fence posts. Mr. Dude sticking his head out the door. Come on, you. That's not how this is supposed to work. You clearly have ambitions of leaving through these doors, these double doors that I have made to be a perfect escape for the cows. I may have outwitted myself there. We shall see. Oh, hi, Vinegar Jim's 3-year-old daughter. So let me see, where was I at? I could also put the doors just elsewhere and still have the gate. I could also go and make a gate. Because it really seems kind of silly. Mind you, I can get them away from the door pretty good. There, now this is the recipe by which I can put that back. Maybe. Perhaps. Possibly. Let's break the door with the fence and then place it. Cool. That didn't go as badly as I thought it was going to. Then we can put a taller part on there. That's not what I meant. Bingo. There, and now we've got a perfect place for putting a sign or two. Technically, I could do 3. I believe that was Primus's studio. Although perhaps I could be mistaken. And yes, there is no way out. Although I could take some planks and put those. Also, I could... Wouldn't it be funny if you could power boats with rockets? Surely that's a thing, right? And yet, it is not. In fact, you have to be jumping in the air to do it. So I feel like I might as well make a proper mangrove gate that I can use, and then use that. And I probably don't need all the rest of this, but boy howdy do I sure have a lot of further fences, so there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. Ooh, another brick fence. And I'm about 15 minutes away from getting to go and have tacos. So that's cool. Did not end up using the... and here we have Craftyman derping around in the underwater zone. They do carry on that way, don't they? So if it came to it and it was some kind of awful prank or whatever, I could always go somewhere else. I could have a little end fence there. Or we could just do this. Hey, all the cows. So then the question is, do I make other corrals? The question is, have we built the secret door in here? Well, there could be one out here and that would be fine. I do actually have the hole through to there. Nothing wrong with that hole being there. You know, it's funny, we were talking about bands and things earlier. And in a very real sense, this is one of the things. Like, if you make a band, people will start doing stuff that you didn't want. And you got to kind of deal with that. Find a way of having that work for you. If you can't deal with other people, you might as well just be multi-tracking in your basement. Or what other area serves as a basement. So it's kind of interesting the way that works. My way of dealing with it is to be kind of very conscious of the fact that I can quite easily be unreasonable and have these really strong opinions about how things should be. And honestly, my whole project is not really about making the best tools for Chris and never letting anybody else have them. And the thing is, if I am making tools like that, what could easily happen is maybe I should go and get sheep or something for a secondary pen. do a rainbow of sheep. That's always fun. In a secondary area. And it could go from here. Probably shouldn't have done all of those. Maybe I can... So I still have the oak fence gate. So then it becomes a question of, shall I bring a bunch of sheep over here as well? And then they can be living in this smaller, simpler pen. Probably doable. Question being, I don't know if I have a batch of sheep around. DK is responding. Yeah, the doors does count in its way. To some extent, they do count. Although those little organs, like I've got a farfisa like right over that away. I need to be using it simply because it is a keyboard voice that is extremely electric. It doesn't sound anything like a synth, which is wild because it essentially is. But that's the thing, is it doesn't sound like a synth. Oh, I don't know why I'm looking for mangrove when my mangrove is literally all here. Second gate. One more sign. And time for a nap soon enough. That's one of the interesting things about the concept of trance, concept of dance. We're so used to doing that with machines. It is so normal and not unusual in the slightest to be busily doing electronic or dance music purely by virtue of using machines with it. And yet back in the day, that wasn't how it went. We had other techniques, like playing instruments. Okay, so what the sheep's place get called? A fair question, I think. Maybe I'll simplify the other one too. Let's literally do that thing. The beasts are hungry. So that be the cow ranch. Meh. Sheep ranch. And can we place... Ta-da! Okay, it's a little bit sideways on. Rip Junebug dried up. That seems a shame. I guess the earth was turned over in a certain way. I feel like I could do with lighting up the ranch a little bit too, but maybe that's not for right now. We're about 5 minutes away from me being able to go and get tacos. And I like the idea of being allowed to go and get tacos. That seems like a good thing. Ooh, transportation upgrade. Don't need to worry about a chicken ranch because there's the chicken bomb over there. It's pretty much what it is. Although I could go and see if we can feed any of these guys again. Probably not. I haven't given them enough time. We'll find out. Very good. Oh, I remember I was going to put some chests out here. Crafterman, you just want to be on camera for the last 5 minutes of stream? What can I do about it? Not a lot. I could demand you not be, but seems mean. I don't get a lot of joy out of being mean. Sometimes I just gotta put up with stuff because it's unreasonable to be unreasonable. What the hell was I doing? I remember. See me trying to remember the simplest things about what I was doing. And one of them was I need chests. And I'd like to make them not out of mangrove planks because I'm running out of those. Can we make bamboo chests? If we could, what would they look like? Where are you searching my stuff? We can make bamboo chests, and there's nothing unusual looking about them at all. I mean, for all I know, he was opening the ender chest, so technically that would be looking in your chest, not mine. And then we're going to plunk over here a place to stash things like our spare wheat. And then if we end up having to produce lots of cow as food, that will be a place to put it as well. Well, now what sign would that be? Because I have all of my signs still there. Up to and including this one. I should make them glow, though. They don't show up very well. I need to go and find some glow squids. Haven't been seeing them around lately. I honestly do not remember, and I'm not clear on the various possibilities of what you can do with that. Oh, okay. Put back the Junebug Memorial. Okay. I mean, I didn't put that there in the first place, so I appreciate it not being there. Um, I do have my leads. Okay. 3-minute sprint in search of ships. Like the Knack McFeagle would call them. Searching for a wild ship. Having already snaffled all the coup beasties. Anybody who's familiar with Terry Pratchett would recognize that. Do we have ships in the woods? Brief window of opportunity for finding a ship and bringing it. Oh, floating turret. Oh, I could get a bunch of leaves and put it in the pastures and be like, yeah, that's the cow ship. It would be a touch of realism, but I don't suppose I really need to do such a thing. I'm going to go until 5 searching for ships. There really is a lot of leaves out here. Sheep in other people's bases. See, there's a wild pig. It's just not what I want. So this is a great area for grass color. But not a great area for presence of sheep. And it is now 5, so I'm going to make my way back. Perhaps by way of trees. Or not. Okay. That worked. No sheep. Oh, a bee. Is it a bee or is it a half a bee? It is a bee. Alrighty, so I'm probably not going to get back to my base by exactly 5, but that does it for the stream. So hopefully it was fun for somebody. It was a reasonably amount of fun for me. I have the cow ranch that I wanted, so that's good. And I cleared out all of the mangrove, but I can always make more. And as the sun is setting, the sun will be rising momentarily. But we'll count that as me going to sleep then. Oh, I forgot a thing. So tell you what. We're going to disconnect out of there. And I'm quitting out of the game. But I told you, oh yeah, somebody's talking about the cow poking its head through a door. I bet it doesn't see through doors. I promised something and I like to be good to my word, and then I forgot that I had done. There's 9 people here who have not already left. Please pick a plugin for this weekend. Certain ones don't count. You don't get to pick Console H, you don't get to pick Console X2. That's not ready. Pick a plugin. And then I'm going to go and make tacos. Ah, yeah. Vinegar Jim knows about Jojo Meyer's nerve. Absolutely. Absolutely. Vinegar Jim, go back and rewatch and look closely at the corners of the screen. you should find an IP address that is the one. It's on screen at all times. So, here's our choices. We've got Baxandall 3, Chimey Guitar 2, although I'm not sure that's awesome and I might want to continue updating it. You don't get the Console X or Console H2. Dynamics 2, that's an exclamation mark. You, sir, shall have Dynamics 2. That is the dynamics that goes into Console X and Console H. You may have it. It includes compression. It's not the bus version of the compressor, but it's the channel version. And it includes gating. And damn straight, I said I would be good to my word. You might not have gotten on the server during the stream, but by God, you're going to have Dynamics 2 this coming week. You, sir, are welcome. And I will talk to you folks later. I'm going to run off and have tacos now. And I'll be back on Thursday, either derping around with the program that I was using to replace the card game, or more Minecraft, or I'm not sure what. I'll think of something. See you on Thursday. I'll probably be logging on a little bit earlier. Bye-bye.